Hey y'all, it's Natalie and I'm super excited because today is my first video with the Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and I am using the August 2022 Limitless kit, and it's actually named Limitless. This month is the launch of this new kit. So what you see me doing here is I pulled out this wood grain paper. It's called Walnut and Cream Ledger paper from Simple Stories, and I'm gutting it because I'm going to use both sides of it. So I have these pictures of my oldest son, and I wanted to do like a page that just basically is like some things about him at this time in his life, just a few little snippets that show his personality at this age right now. So I gutted the paper and I'm gonna trim it down just a teeny tiny bit so that you can see the blue cardstock. I'm going to use the Jetstream cardstock to mount this on, and so you will be able to see little tiny bit of the blue around the edges of the wood grain paper. And then I'm also going to trim down the gutted portion so that you will be able to see a little bit of the blue paper around the edges of that as well. And it matches really well the shirt that he is wearing in the photos. So I'm going to rough up the edges of all of the gutted portions of the border and the inside part of the paper, and I'm going to adhere them down to this blue sheet of cardstock, and I am going to take it off screen and sew around the edges with some cream thread around all the edges of the gutted papers. First, I'm just trying to kind of figure out how I'm going to put the photos on the page. I think about putting that one kind of separately because it's a little bit closer up than the other ones, and there's the little tidbits about his current personality that I will be cutting out. And I'm also going to use this hexagon die from my stash. It was inspired by the hexagon wood elements that come in the Limitless kit, and I'm just going to use that die to cut a little bit out of the photo. So on this first one, I thought that it would be best to keep the little inset portions of the hexagon on the paper by using some tearaway tape on the back of the photo. And then I used some purple tape on the photo to hold the die down. Now, I've said this in other videos, I'm not a huge fan of purple tape, and this just solidified it for me, honestly. I put this purple tape on it, and the whole purpose is that it's not supposed to leave sticky residue, and it left sticky residue. I don't know what I could possibly be doing differently from other people that love purple tape, but it's just not for me. Plus, I have this mat here. I didn't even think about it, but it is magnetic, and so I truly didn't even need it. And you'll see later on in the video, I will do the rest of the photos without using the purple tape. But you can't really tell from so far away, but there you can see so you can see the few little hexagons, and I will be sticking those down separately on this paper in just a moment. So I cut my journaling into strips. You can see I sewed around the edges, and I pulled out the die, the all one piece portion of the hexagon, and I pulled that out, and then I stuck down the hexagons individually with my glue. And so here I did not use tape on the back of the photo, and it stayed in pretty well because photo paper, so it's kind of like the plasticky feel of it. And so none of the pieces kind of like went out without me actively pulling them out of the die cut, which was the reason for using the tape to begin with, because I didn't want to lose little portions of the photo that I planned to incorporate back in once it was on the page, but the tape wasn't necessary. So anyway, you can see I'm just using that die to cut out different portions of the negative space of the photos, and just a little bit of added interest that was inspired by those embellishments that come in the kit. Wood veneer hexagons. So I'm gonna just line up those 4 photos on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere the 2 on the ends, and then I'm gonna go in with my Nuvo adhesive, and I'm going to add in the hexagons a little bit. Some of them I'm going to leave blank spaces. We're not missing anything from the photo because I only used the hexagons to cut out from the negative space So yeah, it's like putting a little puzzle together. And you can see a couple times I have to like rotate the piece because I put it in maybe like upside down or something. But that's why I keep the die cut piece next to me and only pull out one little piece at a time, because I don't want to get confused about where each piece goes. I do want the photo to kind of come together nicely. I'll take this chance to let you know that I have linked down below to the Limitless kit, as well as the overall website for Not Just for Boys Kit Club. It is a super fabulous kit club. There's 3 kits this month that you can choose from, and they're all so good and cute, and the design team is so creative. I'm so excited to be a part of it, and they just constantly give me so much inspiration. I love to see what everybody comes up with these awesome kits. So I'm still just cutting out the negative space in these photos. And this one I decided to kind of do 2 separate areas on the photo. I just didn't want them to be too uniform. So I didn't want the same area of the photo to be cut out in each photo. I wanted some on the tops and some on the bottoms and some on the right sides and some on the left side. So I'm just kind of like variegating it. I don't know if that's really the proper word, but just kind of like doing that to keep a good balance on the page. So I don't make you watch all of it. I did cut out quite a bit of it, but I just wanted to show you the process of creating. And you could do this with a lot of different dies, but I really love using this, like what I would call a honeycomb kind of die, to create this process, because it keeps the die cut section pretty straight. Not straight, all close together, so that you can add the portions back in and it still shows you what the picture should look like without messing up the photo, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take those wood veneer hexagon pieces and I'm going to color them, because I wanted some more blue on the page. And I didn't really use any of the navy blue paper, but there are a lot of navy blue papers in the Limitless kit. So that's why I was inspired to use a navy blue watercolor spray here on the wood veneers. So I spray them and I let them dry. And then I take like a bronze mica spray and I just do some splatters onto it, so that I have like little splatters of like a metallic color on the embellishments too, just so they're more interest. There you can see, I love it. You can also see I have a snack up there at the top right. It's spinach dip and pretzels. I use some, what's the word, Greek yogurt instead of like mayonnaise or sour cream, and that's so I can eat more of it. Follow me for more health tips. So this is the 49th and Market ephemera pack that comes in the Limitless kit. And so I'm choosing one of those pieces, which I already love that they come kind of with ripped weird edges. But I'm going to like rip it down even more to anchor the title of my page to this piece, because I want to pop it up. So I'm going to rip down this piece of ephemera. I'm going to rough up the edges. I'm going to add some navy blue color around the edges to bring in that navy blue again, like I used on the hexagons. And then I'm going to use some foam tape to pop up this strip of paper or ephemera from that pack and have a bite of snack. And that's gonna hold my title. And so I really like the thickers that come in the set. They are called Adventure Puffy Thickers, but I did want them popped up. So that's why I'm using this foam tape on this like little bit of paper to anchor it and give it just some extra interest to add to the journaling. And I cut them into strips, and one strip is a lot shorter than all the rest, and I don't really usually like to like line them up, so I decided to put the smallest one at the bottom so they kind of like give a little angular look to the page and kind of draw your eye down to those photos at the bottom. So I just am letting that title stick off the anchor paper just a little bit at the top to give like a little bit of shadow and another interesting look in the page. And now I'm going to, what am I doing here? Oh, I'm using some other bits from the ephemera pack. So this is like a little like ledger tag thing, and I use my tiny attacher. I put the date of the photos onto this, what's the name? A file tab. It's a file tab. That's the word. Not a ledger. It's a file tab. And I stapled it to the main photo on the page. And now I'm using my Nuva adhesive to adhere down the strips. Now, a lot of times I do like to pop up my photos, but I did not do that this time because of the hexagon elements that I die cut out of them. Although it could have been kind of cool to pop them up and leave the hexagon elements on the bottom of the page and then pop up the photos. Maybe I'll have to try it again sometime. So I used the variegated thread that's called Paris from the Limitless kit to just kind of wrap around each of the hexagons a couple of times and tie little knots in them and just give another really good textural element to my page. So I did a couple on the larger ones, and then on the smaller ones, just one little knot. And then I'm going to sprinkle them around the page. And I kind of get done. Oh, this is just another little ephemera piece from the 49 Market set that I ripped a little ticket in half, and I did the same treatment of roughing up the edges and inking it up, and then I'm just using it to layer behind the photos. But I off screen, I just colored up a few more of those hexagons because I decided that I needed more around the page. I like to do things in odd numbers, so that's why originally I thought I would just have 3 groupings of hexagons, but I end up deciding that I need more. I end up having 5 groupings. But before that, I go in with the same watercolor spray that I used with the hexagons, and I wanted to add in some subtle splatters, and then I did a really messy job of it. I try to cover things up, and I end up just still getting some on the photo, and then you can see I got some on my journaling, but I go with it because I was like, you know what, it's a really rough looking page anyway. I've roughed up the edges of the papers a lot, and it's very rustic, and so I thought, well, I'll just add a few more splatters on the journaling and make it look like it was intentional. And so I know like some people might be perfectionists and that's just not going to be something that they can go with. But for me, I'm totally go with the flow, and I encourage you to be the same. I'm also going in, this is an add-on element. These wood grain sequins are super cool. There's a Limitless sequin mix. So definitely grab those too if you are a fan of sequins, because the wood grain ones are so cute for any like boyish page or outdoorsy page. I love, love, love them. So you can see there I added a few more of those hexagons and a couple other groupings. And so I have 5 groupings around the page. Sprinkling in a little bit of sequins, and I think we're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm super excited to be a part of the Not Just for Boys Kit Club design team this year. There's some close-up pictures coming. Like I said, I'm going to put the links down below to the Limitless kit as well as the website for Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and keep coming back because I'll have a couple more layouts this month and then more every month. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.